you guys. Tough basketball game. Before I start with that, I just wanted to say we were proud to partner with Michigan State in their Slam Stigma game. We had a really nice note from a woman named Margot in our locker room about thanking us for participating with these bracelets and the pins, but I'd rather thank her for what she's doing to advance the causes of awareness to the mental health for student athletes in honor of her brother. So that was positive. Ooh, tough one. Robin's a great coach. This is a really good basketball team. I thought we showed up late to the fight. I thought we're not at our best in the first quarter, and your best is necessary on the road against a top, 10-ish, whatever they're ranked team. I was proud of how we competed after that, but we made too many mistakes, turned the ball over too many times, and weren't sharp enough. And their ability to get to the free throw line 3 times as much as us was hard for us to overcome as well.
They seem to sort of crank up their defense, and that one stretch after you guys had sort of taken back control, cut back to 10, was that to you the difference in sort of losing control of the game a little bit?
I know the time you're talking about. I think that was one of the runs. I think initially the way we started the game was tough. Then we came, roaring back, which was great. And then when it was that back and forth kind of time where I thought we were both kind of playing well, we let them take a bit of a lead. So I think they turned up their defense, and I just thought we got too casual for a minute, or they won that run, and we came back again, with the flurry and just couldn't get over that hump. So there were a lot of different runs, but I thought that was significant when they, stretched what was a possession type game. I was hoping we could get it to like 6 or 8 because I knew they were gonna come at us, and we couldn't. Just a couple easy ones. Like we had some good looks, and we couldn't extend it enough to maybe take the wind out of their sails, and they came back with some pressure.
Lindsay, 2 things. Michigan State turns a lot of teams over. Did you have a number in mind? If we can keep it under this, we got a great chance.
I mean, definitely less than 24. I do think recently, the most recent kind of high-pressure team was Maryland that we played, and similar. Like, we just tried to get our players to understand the pressure's coming every single time. We can't be surprised. I thought they came in, like, more random ways. Like, we didn't turn it over in the full court. Generally, we had a couple travels, and we had a couple 3 seconds, and we stepped on the line a bunch, and then they took it out of our hands a couple times, so they came in a plethora of ways, but we knew we couldn't, give them 25 points off of our turnovers. That's, dang near impossible to overcome, so it was more about that. They weren't necessarily, some were dead ball turnovers, some were live. It just, it certainly was, probably under 15 would have been great, and certainly way less than 24.
And you're down 12 with just under 5 minutes to go. You got 10 points in 41 seconds.
That was crazy.
Yeah. How much of that was something that you did by design?
I mean, it was the press. Obviously, in retrospect, could that have generated some points for us sooner? We didn't get to the free throw line very much, so it's hard to get in your press when you're not shooting a lot of free throws. But then it was just kind of like we got to do something, and so we got into it on every made basket. It was obviously we got steals and we converted, and got steals and converted, and that's how it's supposed to look when it's cooking. And I thought our players had a lot of fight after that first quarter. It's just, Michigan State's really good, and you can't, show up late to the party either.
When I wonder, beyond the pressure, beyond their press and everything, when you're scouting them, where does your scouting report begin with Michigan State?
I mean, I think it begins with a mentality, like a toughness. They don't shoot a ton of volume of threes. They want to get around you and drive, and we were trying to build walls. Like, we were trying to keep ball pressure, but a lot of emphasis obviously on Grace, a lot of emphasis on Kennedy, and Jones as well. But really, like, the way they play, trying to keep them out of transition, trying to keep them obviously off of converting off turnovers, which we didn't do a good job of. But I think it's where the preparation starts with not letting them loose to the rim. We didn't do a great job of that.
So Cara Dunn was the game's leading scorer for the night with 23 points, and she was pretty much your entire offense in the first about 5-6 minutes of the game. She scored 8 of your first 10 points. Obviously, the talk of the town has been Jazzy Davidson, but how vital is Dunn to this team, and what does she bring when maybe Davidson's had a slow start out of the gate?
Yeah, I've talked at length about Kara. We knew we were getting with Kara, an established veteran player. She was all ACC. Where I've been so impressed with her is her leadership. She's a coach's kid. When it was kind of trying to figure out how to get into her rhythm, I think she wanted to come play for us because of a little, just creativity on offense and getting her in different spots. And sometimes that takes an adjustment period. And she didn't spend one moment lamenting, I'm not shooting well enough, or I'm not getting enough shots. She just worked, and now she's really caught a rhythm. In this game in particular, we did think we had some advantages at spots, and certainly the way that they pressure with Grace away from the basket. If our 5 was away from the basket and Grace is hedging ball screens, we thought we could get her on back cuts and post ups. She did a really good job of attacking off the bounce, and she kept us afloat a little bit there. I do think Jazzy had a really excellent game as well, and figured out where she could pick her spots, and then the 5 blocks, and we did some good things. Kennedy was aggressive to the rim. We turned it over too much, and that the initial drought early, and then that late run we let them go on. But again, they're a really good team. And it's a good lesson for us that can't be slow in transition to start the game, or be slow in the toughness category off the bat.
Coach, Jazzy didn't have a great game today, obviously 21 points, but another stat to look at, she drew 7 fouls today. Just speak on how big that is, even for a freshman, for her to come out and give you guys that extra boost.
And when I watched the game back, I probably would want to draw 1 in front of that 7. And she put so much pressure on a defense, right? She moves really well without the ball. She has the ball in her hands. She can shoot it. She's finding her gaps and things like that. But, I think, I know the record's not showing it right now. We're in obviously a tough stretch of really hard, difficult opponents. But I think there's a rhythm developing with, our people being comfortable with one another. Ken was out for a while, and Jazzy and Kara and, London, and when she comes in, and I think Jazzy's just finding her spots and growing on the fly. And so I think the way she impacts the game, because she moves so well, shoots it well, the defensive end, and the 5 blocks as well, and her value in how she impacts the basketball game is really high, and the fouls drawn, is one of those, because I think people got to hold her a lot to keep her from getting cleanly to her spots.
Hey, Coach, so you just mentioned you got a tough stretch of games coming up. You got Michigan on Sunday. This was a tough, grinding battle for 40 minutes of basketball. How do you get this group ready to go on the road in Ann Arbor against a really good Michigan team?
Yeah, and also, I've now been in this conference for a year and a half and have not talked one time about the travel, not one time, But we arrived at 3:30 a.m. last night, and I thought our players didn't say a peep about it. We said nobody cares, but now we've got to figure out how to get rested and go play a team that if we think these guys pressure, the pressure's coming even stronger maybe in Ann Arbor. Both really, really good teams, and that's what the task is, and we'll get them recovered. There's a lot of different ways to prepare for a game. It's not always physical, but we have to work on a recovery. At least we're not taking another flight. We're just driving to Ann Arbor, and we'll be ready to go on Sunday.
Why did you get in at 3:30?
We had a mechanical issue with the plane that delayed us about 8 hours. It wasn't even weather related. So everyone handled it really well. There was one person that was kind of pissy, and that person's right here. But I tried not to share that with anybody else. And you know what? I think Michigan State got delayed when they were coming back from it. It's what we do, right? Obviously we know what the West Coast teams have to come on these long trips 4 times a year. It's why I don't want to hear it when they complain about coming to the 80 degrees of LA and all of that once a year. But it's part of what we do. I think our players, like I said, made no excuses. They were great all day today and showed up for a really great, top battle that they were the better team today in these 40 minutes, and that's what we're going to take from it and go and have it have us ready for Sunday, and then whatever's next after that.
Thank you all.
Thank you.